Look at the Porsche 911 Turbo. It is incredibly fast. It is highly capable. It has all-wheel drive to save your butt when you make a massive mistake. It is the perfect everyday supercar, and that is exactly why some people hate it. To a certain kind of driver, the Turbo is just too safe, too sanitized, too easy. They wanted something that did not care about their safety. They wanted a car that would actively try to throw them into a guardrail if they got greedy with the throttle. Porsche heard them, and starting back in 1993, they built an absolute monster. They took the Turbo, ripped out the front driveshafts, threw away the safety nets, and created the GT2, the most expensive, fastest, and most terrifying model in the entire 911 lineup. This is not a car for casual track day heroes. This is a car that terrified Porsche's own development drivers. Go ahead, tell me you could handle it. You couldn't. Let us go back to where the madness started, the 993 generation. Originally, Porsche did not even build this thing for the street. They built it to meet homologation requirements for GT2 class racing. That is why they badged the road-going version simply as the 911 GT. But look at this thing. It is pure attitude. It did not get pretty, elegant bodywork. It got widened plastic fenders bolted straight to the body. It got a massive rear wing with integrated air scoops in the struts just to feed cold air to that hungry engine. Under that wing lived a 3.6-liter twin-turbocharged flat-six. When it launched, it sent 424 horsepower straight to the rear wheels. No all-wheel drive, no traction control, just your right foot and your prayers. By 1998, they bumped that up to 444 horsepower. They only built 57 of these road cars, and only 13 of them were right-hand drive. If you find one today, you are looking at automotive royalty and a total death wish. Then came 1999. The 993 was dead, replaced by the water-cooled 996 generation. Purists cried, but Porsche did not care. They spent 2 years developing the new 996 GT2, but during those 2 years, they changed their minds. They abandoned the GT2 for motorsports and decided to focus on Le Mans GT class racing with the naturally aspirated GT3 instead. That meant the new 996 GT2 was developed primarily as a road car. But do not think for a second they softened it up. They took the GT3's 3.6-liter flat-six and slapped 2 turbos on it. It put out 456 horsepower, and later they dialed it up to 476 horsepower. Car and driver tested it and said it suffered from hardly any turbo lag. It was instant, violent power. It sat 10 millimeters lower than the standard turbo, but because of that massive fixed rear wing, it actually had a higher drag coefficient, 0.34 compared to the turbo's 0.33. It looked pissed off, with wider fenders and a nose that looked ready to eat the asphalt. It was a pure street weapon. After a short break, the 997 GT2 arrived in dealerships in November 2007. This is where things went from crazy to outright ridiculous. Porsche took the 3.6-liter flat-six from the turbo but bolted on 2 variable geometry turbochargers. The result? A massive 523 horsepower and 502 pound-feet of torque. And here is the kicker. That torque hit at just 2,200 RPM. Imagine rolling onto the throttle and having that much twist slam the rear tires at basically idle. It would run from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.6 seconds and hit 200 in just 10.6 seconds. Keep your foot down, and it topped out at 204 miles per hour. That made it only the 3rd production road Porsche in history to smash the 200-mile-per-hour barrier, right behind the insane 1998 911 GT1, of which they only built 20 street units. It was a member of an elite, terrifying club. It looked different from the Turbo too, featuring a revised front lip, a newly designed rear wing with twin air inlets, and a revised rear bumper showing off gorgeous titanium exhaust pipes. Let us talk about real-world numbers because some of you are probably thinking, oh, it is just a spec sheet car. Hell no. Motor Trend strapped their gear to a 2008 GT2 and ripped a 0 to 60 mile per hour run in 3.4 seconds. They cleared the quarter mile in 11.4 seconds at a stupid fast 127.9 miles per hour. But it is not just straight-line speed. This rear-wheel drive animal pulled 1.1 G of lateral grip. It stopped from 60 to 0 in just 98 feet. Think about that. That is race car territory on street tires. To prove how capable this chassis was, legendary German test driver Walter Röhrl took a 997 GT2 out on a public track day at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. He lapped the damn green hell in 7 minutes and 32 seconds. In traffic. If you wanted one of these in North America, you had to fight for it. They sold a measly 194 units in the United States and only 19 in Canada. It was an instant legend, but Porsche was not done. In May 2010, German dealers got a notification that changed everything. The GT2 RS was coming. Porsche Motorsport's manager Andreas Preuninger admitted this thing started back in 2007 as a secret skunkworks project. They had a target. The project code name was 727. Why? Because 727 was the Nissan GT-R's lap time around the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and Porsche took that personally. They wanted to humiliate Godzilla. To do it, they stripped 70 kilograms of weight out of the GT2. Then they turned the boost up. The RS put out 612 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 dropped to 3.3 seconds, and top speed climbed to 205 miles per hour. When they finally let test driver Timo Kluck loose on the ring, he did not just beat the Nissan's time. He supposedly eclipsed the 727 target by a massive 9 seconds. Only 500 of these global GT2 RS units were ever built. It was a carbon fiber, track-focused middle finger to the rest of the automotive world. Now, let us talk about the absolute peak of 911 madness, the 991 GT2 RS. Porsche did something completely unexpected here. They did not unveil it at a motor show. They revealed it at the Xbox 2017 E3 briefing as the cover car for Forza Motorsport 7. Talk about a flex. Then they officially launched it in the real world at the 2017 Goodwood Festival of Speed. Under the rear deck lid sat a 3.8-liter twin-turbocharged flat-six pumping out an absurd 691 horsepower, or 700 metric horsepower if you want to be precise. It is the most powerful production 911 ever built, period. And unlike every GT2 before it, this car was so ridiculously powerful, with 553 pound-feet of torque, that Porsche could not even use a manual transmission. They had to fit a 7-speed PDK dual-clutch transmission just to handle the sheer force without exploding. The result? 0 to 60 in a mind-melting 2.7 seconds. Top speed, 211 miles per hour. It is a cheat code in real life. So let us be real for a second. Half of you watching this are probably still dreaming about a 911 Turbo S. You want the comfort, the daily drivability, the safety of all-wheel drive. And hey, there is no shame in wanting to be comfortable. But if you want a car that actually commands respect, a car that demands your full attention or threatens to put you in a ditch, the GT2 is the undisputed king of the 911 family. It is lighter. It is rear-wheel drive. It is faster. And it is the most expensive, uncompromising weapon Porsche has ever put on the street. It is a rolling testament to what happens when engineers are allowed to build whatever they want without the lawyers interfering. So go ahead and tell me in the comments, are you taking the easy mode turbo, or do you actually have the guts to drive the Widowmaker? Let me know, and do not forget to subscribe before you wreck your imaginary GT2.